The British Empire did not collapse in one day. It collapsed because its leaders refused to accept the truth. They spent more, fought more, borrowed more, and listened less. They believed power meant permanence. They believed history did not apply to them. They believed the rules of economics, war, and society were for other nations, not for the empire that controlled 1/4 of the world. Today, in 2026, America is repeating the same behavior, the same pride, the same denial, the same dangerous belief that global dominance can never end. History has seen this story before, and it never ends well. Every empire believes it is different. Every empire believes it will escape the fate of those who came before it. The British Empire believed this more strongly than anyone. At its peak, Britain ruled oceans, continents, and global trade routes. Its navy was unmatched. Its economy controlled commerce across the world, and its culture shaped countless nations. Leaders of the empire saw themselves not as a government, but as a permanent force of progress. Collapse was not even considered a possibility, and that very belief became the seed of failure. Britain's global reach was staggering. It controlled India, Africa, parts of the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and numerous islands across the oceans. London was the financial heart of the global system. The British pound was the world's primary reserve currency, trusted and demanded in every major market. International trade, insurance, shipping, and finance were dominated by British institutions. Britain did not just rule land, it ruled global systems. Ordinary people looked at the empire and saw power, stability, and success. To the leaders, decline was impossible. Yet decline never announces itself. It grows quietly, hidden beneath the appearance of strength. The empire's most fatal mistake was overextension. Britain tried to control too many regions at once. Armies were spread thin. Naval fleets stretched across oceans. Colonial administrators were overwhelmed. Maintaining such an empire required enormous resources. Instead of investing at home, Britain poured money abroad, believing influence in distant lands was more important than domestic strength. Infrastructure at home suffered, industry lagged behind, and social programs were minimal. The empire looked strong to outsiders, but at its core, it was fragile. War accelerated the decline. World War I drained Britain's economy and workforce. Millions of young men died, industries were disrupted, and national morale declined. The empire survived the war, but at a great cost. Instead of rebuilding cautiously, Britain attempted to maintain the same global power, ignoring the growing cracks. Then World War II arrived, delivering a decisive blow. Britain won militarily, but lost economically. Cities lay in ruins, factories were destroyed, national debt exploded beyond control. By the end of the war, Britain owed massive sums to the United States. The empire existed, but hollowed out. It could no longer afford to maintain distant colonies. Independence movements surged, and one by one, colonies gained freedom. Britain's empire did not fall because of foreign attack. It fell because it could no longer afford the illusion of control. The tragedy of Britain's collapse was timing. If its leaders had recognized reality earlier, decline could have been managed, influence could have been preserved. But pride delayed action. Political leaders prioritized prestige over practicality. By the time Britain acknowledged limits, the system was exhausted. History had no patience. The empire did not fall because it lost wars. It fell because it refused to change. Now, consider America. In 2026, it occupies a position remarkably similar to Britain before its fall. It has the world's most powerful military, maintains hundreds of bases across dozens of countries, and wields influence in nearly every region. The US dollar dominates global trade, just as the British pound did. America may not call itself an empire, but functionally, it behaves like one. Like Britain, America believes its global role is necessary to maintain order. Like Britain, it fears that reducing global commitments would invite chaos. Like Britain, it spends enormous resources maintaining a worldwide presence. Military budgets are at historic highs. America's involvement in foreign conflicts spans multiple regions at the same time. Each conflict costs trillions of dollars, yet the ordinary citizen often sees little benefit. Roads, bridges, and infrastructure at home age. Education becomes more expensive. Healthcare costs rise. Public trust in institutions falls. The parallels to Britain's overextended empire are striking. Debt is the most dangerous similarity. Britain collapsed under the weight of war debts and the cost of empire. America's national debt has reached historic levels and grows every year. Debt alone does not destroy empires, but debt combined with endless foreign commitments and political gridlock is a deadly combination. Empires rarely fall because they are poor. They fall because they refuse to recognize limits while pretending to be rich. Leadership psychology also matters. British leaders feared admitting limits, believing it would signal weakness. They continued draining policies because appearance mattered more than reality. Today, American leaders face similar pressures. Retreat is seen as weakness. Strategic reduction is framed as failure. The unwillingness to acknowledge limits is pushing the nation toward exhaustion. Internal divisions exacerbate the risk. Britain experienced social unrest, labor strikes, and political fragmentation during its decline. America today faces deep political polarization, distrust of institutions, and widening social inequality. When a nation is divided internally, adaptation becomes almost impossible. Crisis cannot be effectively managed. Decisions are delayed. Resources are misallocated. This is exactly what destroyed Britain in the final decades of its empire. Even the global economy reflects worrying parallels. Britain relied on international trade and financial dominance to maintain its empire. America relies on global supply chains, international investments, and the dollar's reserve status. Any disruption, financial, military, or technological, could create systemic shocks. Britain failed to prepare for shifts in global power. America, with competitors rising in Asia and Europe, risks repeating the same mistake. Technology and culture offer no immunity. Britain relied on its industrial superiority and naval dominance. America relies on technology, media influence, and military superiority. Both are temporary advantages. Both can be undermined if the empire becomes complacent. Power does not last forever. Only wisdom, adaptation, and humility extend dominance. The British Empire's final mistake was refusing to see reality. It was not overpowered. It was overconfident. Pride delayed adaptation. Resources were mismanaged. Debt and war drained the system. Colonies gained independence because Britain could no longer afford control, not because it lost the fight. America now faces the same crossroads. It is strong but blind. It is dominant but overextended. It is admired but vulnerable. In 2026, the question is not whether America is powerful. It clearly is. The question is whether it will learn from history before history delivers the same verdict again. Ignoring lessons from the past does not prevent consequences. It accelerates them. History does not punish empires for strength. It punishes them for blindness. Pride delays change. Complacency ignores warning signs. Overextension drains resources. Debt weakens the foundation. And when these factors combine, the fall is inevitable. History is watching. The British Empire is gone. Its mistakes are recorded. Its warnings are clear. And America now faces the same forces, the same risks, and the same choice: to learn, adapt, and survive, or to repeat the empire's fatal mistake. Time will tell which path is chosen, but if history is correct, the consequences will be unavoidable.